It's been 24 hours since the Giants made the announcement that Daniel Jones will be starting for the New York Giants in place of Eli Manning in Week 3 and assumably going forward. Now, I posted my initial reaction, which was the reaction of many Giants fans. Excitement, hopeful, elated. But now, taking a step back, I was able to fully grasp the situation and kind of take a trip down memory lane. A lot of fans go by the mantra, and I'm guilty of this as well, of what have you done for me lately? Now, we're such an instant gratification society, in recent years, that if you're not doing what I need you to do right now, I'm done with you, I'm done with whatever that is. In the case of Eli Manning, this is absolutely applicable. Now, am I saying in all cases that it's not deserved? No. The Eli farewell tour has been going on for almost 3 years now. As I've mentioned in previous videos, I was in attendance for the final home game of those past 3 seasons, and Eli had a hero's exit. It was a monstrous standing ovation and chants of Eli, Eli as he jogged off the field. That could have been his Hollywood ending. He could have gone out on his shield like a warrior. Now, I understand the competitive drive of not just Eli, but the Mannings in general. He wanted one last shot at that movie-type ending where it's riding off in the sunset as Super Bowl champion, but this isn't a movie, this is real life, and Father Time is undefeated. Now, am I saying that Giants fans shouldn't be overjoyed with Daniel Jones and have a slight resentment toward Eli because of these 3 years? No, you can hold those grudges and you can have those feelings, but all I'm trying to say is remember from now on the good times over the bad. Just remember all the good that Eli Manning did for this organization, for this fan base, for New York, and just know that he left this organization better than he found it. As you know, there are 32 teams in the NFL. Since Eli Manning's entered the league in 2004, there have been only 3 teams that have won multiple Super Bowls. Really think about that. The guy that's been receiving numerous amounts of criticism brought this organization 2 Super Bowls in 15 years. The other teams obviously being the Pittsburgh Steelers, who won in 2006 and 2009, and then of course the New England Patriots, who I'm not even going to give the satisfaction to them in numbering on them off. Also in that span of 15 years, 9 other teams won a Super Bowl. But as I mentioned, only 1. That leaves a massive chunk of the league, over half, that have gone in this 15-year span, and some of them much further back, that have not won a Super Bowl. And we won 2. Now, have other teams had more consistent success as far as making the playoffs, having a winning record, reaching the conference championship? Of course they have. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't trade the tenure that Eli Manning had for anything. Those 2 historic runs that we went on through the playoffs and eventually into the Super Bowl are irreplaceable in my mind. It was an experience like no other. And as an NFL fan, there's nothing more elating than watching your team, the team that you support with your life, win it all. I'm going to remember Eli for more than just these isolated moments that have become so popular as of late. The Tyree helmet catch. The dime pass that he just perfectly dropped in to Mario Manningham along the sideline in the 2nd Super Bowl. No. I'm going to remember him for being a tough-as-nails, hard-nosed, competitive football player. I'm going to remember him for moments like August 16th, 2010. It was the first preseason game of the 2010 season. Eli Manning gets absolutely blindsided by a tackle, gets his helmet knocked off, he hits the turf, and he is battered and bloodied, dripping all over the field. Most people would have stayed down from that hit. Some may never recovered. Eli got up, jogged off the field, took his lumps, and you know what he did? He went out that regular season and he brought the Giants to a Super Bowl. That's the Eli that I'm going to remember, the warrior that he was. You couldn't have asked for a better model of what a quarterback should be. cool, calm, collected, never getting too emotional in any given situation, always knowing what to say when pressed on a stressful situation. He was perfect for New York, especially, where the media is just constantly buzzing. Now, also in New York, everything is just so prim and proper, and like, look at the Yankees, the pinstripes, everything is just so perfect. And Eli wasn't. He was flawed. He That's what made him our quarterback. He was goofy. He was seemingly just unaware of his surroundings at times, and that's why everything went so well, and that's what enamored him to the fans. Now, to lighten this up a bit, in regards to Eli, one of my favorite things that I've saw in this whole situation that's been going down was this meme. Without Eli Manning, Tom Brady would have 8 Super Bowl rings. I mean, I found that funny because it's just always been that Eli is this unstoppable force's kryptonite, and I love it. Now, lastly, when the question is raised whether or not Eli Manning should be in the Hall of Fame or not, I think the answer is simple. Absolutely. There will be debates and there will be questions because of his 500 record as a starting quarterback, but top 10 in passing yards, top 10 in passing touchdowns, add in 2 Super Bowls, 2 Super Bowl MVPs, 4 Pro Bowls, and just the fact what he did for an organization, I think it should be unanimous. One day, will he potentially get knocked out of the top 10 in those categories? Of course he will. And so have legends of the past when the new generation, that new era, takes over. But we haven't forgotten their legacies, and we shouldn't forget Eli's either. In closing, I just want to say thank you, Eli Manning. Thank you for making an 8-year-old boy from a small town in northern Connecticut fall in love with the game of football, and thank you so much for all the memories that you gave me.